Okay, bro. Ready when you are.
Yo, them a go get bombard. Them no really want no drama.
You ready for us?
Underdogs is being released in 2 days on Quest, Steam, and the developers have mentioned that they would love to bring it to PSVR 2 at a later date. But in today's video I'm going to tell you all about my time with it so far and why I think it's an extremely cool and pretty unique VR game. For clarity, this video is sponsored, but there's no restrictions on what I can and can't say, and hopefully by now you guys know I don't accept sponsorships unless I feel the game is good enough for your consideration. With that being said, here's the two messages I need to deliver. The first is to make you aware there is a giveaway down in this video's description where you or someone you know could win one of 10 MetaQuest 3s currently being given away. And also, this game can be pre-ordered with a 10% discount on MetaQuest, and that is the gameplay you're seeing today. For pre-ordering, you'll also get an exclusive Gorilla Charm to add to your mech's cockpit and save 10%. But first, let me tell you why I think it's an excellent game to add to your VR gaming library. Firstly, I don't think there's ever been a game quite like Underdogs in VR. I've played other games that have similar mechanics, but the way these guys have combined them all have left me loving the gameplay loop. And to be clear, this is a game that can only be played in VR. The movement is similar to, say, Gamertag, seeing you use your arms for movement, but it also plays like a strategic boxing game. And that's how I approached Underdogs, especially for my first few runs, due to the standard mech setup you start with, having 2 wrecking balls for fists. Now when I say runs, yes, this is a roguelike, meaning every time you die you start again, but each time the game changes slightly and you unlock more customizations and add-ons for your mech. And these customizations ended up changing the way I played the game. There is more than over 100 unlocks, and they aren't all just weapons. For example, you can buy different arms, cockpit add-ons such as regenerative shields, dash attack grills, and regenerating health fluid, and most of these add-ons have perks or risk for reward stats. For example, I swapped out my left wrecking ball fist for a nail gun, which meant I could pin enemies in the arena for a short time, giving me a moment to either strategize or simply find it easier to punch them in the face, which was pretty beneficial for one of my mech builds because I unlocked an add-on which increased my head punch damage by 250%, but it also lowered all other attacks by 50%. This meant if my shots were accurate enough, I could deal some serious damage, and on my third run, the first boss encounter went from a little bit tricky to actually pretty easy, and this meant my mech suffered a lot less damage, which cost me money to fix. As you go through the game, you'll meet a variety of characters and merchants who you can either gamble with, sell secrets to about other merchants to get a discount, or you can help them with different scenarios, and there's opportunities to steal scrap, but also you can get mugged in a street fight. There is a lot going on in the in-between parts of these fights, which makes so much difference to your current run. What I'm trying to say is, these bits in between the fights aren't just gap fillers to break up the gameplay. Every decision you make has an effect upon your next encounter, and therefore all further encounters. I could keep going on about this, but I just want you to know how much I enjoyed this part of the game. The only issue I came across was some situations will have an inevitable outcome, but there's still maybe 2 or 3 other choices I could have made prior to that would have changed the entire situation again. Now that's all well and good, but how good is the gameplay? For me, this is a really satisfying mech brawler, and the enemies have enough variety to keep you on your toes. There is quite a bit to learn in Underdogs, but it never feels overwhelming. As I mentioned, the enemy variety, there's jaw snappers that bite your arms and try to pull them off, large like mech dogs that leap directly at your cockpit, which can be spawned with a variety of armour on various sides of the bodies, meaning if they're protected on the right you can only do damage on the left. There's also some really annoying little spiky robots that run around after you, but you can also use these to throw at the enemy. And all the enemies have the ability to go turbo, meaning they can deal more damage and they are a lot quicker. But if you can stay out of their way and defend yourself, they will eventually overheat, which means it's your time to strike. The real punishers at first were the fist grabbers, as they also hold you in one spot, making you an easy target, until I realised you could headbutt them, or should I say dash attack into them when they were overheated, which would actually smash out their teeth. I can't emphasise how satisfying this combat is. It really does feel like you're in control of an absolutely lethal and powerful killing machine. But you're often outnumbered, and you're definitely not the biggest mech or the most powerful mech in the arena once you come across some of these bosses. The odds are often stacked against you. There's also environmental damage to be aware of, such as spinning spikes, huge grinders and a massive crusher, which you can use to your advantage but can also cause you damage if you don't stay aware of your surroundings. I'm honestly not sure how long to quote you for gameplay length, as I haven't actually completed it yet, but at this time of writing there's one creator who finished the story in 7 hours. Now personally, I'm 5 hours in, and I reckon it'll be around the 8-hour mark for me when I get to the end boss, but I'm not even sure if it's the story that I'm really enjoying. Now don't get me wrong, it's a good story, but it's the combat variety I'm enjoying more, which makes me think I would keep playing to make the ultimate mech setup. Now obviously, being a roguelike, once you die, your mech and everything you unlocked is gone. But if you enjoy a particular build, you also get to play skirmish mode and use that mech again. Another thing this game oozes is style. Not only do I really enjoy the graphical presentation, the music is absolutely fantastic. And it's UK grime, so I understand this might not be to everyone's taste, but I feel it suits the game's dark mood really well. There's bad language, and it just adds to the grittiness. Overall, I've really enjoyed my time with Underdogs, and it's also a pretty good workout. There's some really great moments, like when both your arms have been ripped off, leaving you completely helpless, which really stick in my mind, and the combat is just so satisfying. There's also a variety of comfort options, but I'm not sure VR sickness will be much of an issue for most of you, since all the movement is based on your arms and not on your left joystick. And for the first time, I didn't mind playing with either smooth or snap turn, which is pretty unusual for me. And with all that being said, this gets a massive thumbs up from me. And as always, please leave your thoughts down in the comments, please like and subscribe for more VR content, and I'll see you in the next one.